Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I'm back with a replay that I took from the front page of Drop.sc. This one's going to be between DuStSwarm and some other guy. I don't know who he was, but I basically didn't know because I had that window kind of blocked by my XSplit window just now, and it looks like we're going to go ahead and try and get into this replay. Yes, Monoxide. DuStSwarm and Monoxide. And I did that was like the sound that you guys heard a few minutes ago was my Gmail giving me a notification from ESL. I've got something big I want to announce in the near future, but I don't have any results yet. So if you guys are eager and waiting for surprise, then I guess you'll just have to wait until, unfortunately, I actually get those results in, and then I can actually make that announcement to you guys. Oh, and I played against the OGL members once or twice on the ladder. There was one guy who played Zerg who just absolutely raffle stomped me time and again, and I was able to take it with good sport. I mean, I knew I was going to lose from the start because this guy was just like, he had that onyx colored highlight around his name as opposed to my diamond colored one. But here we are, low right hand corner, OGL Monoxide. And in the upper left hand corner, YMCMB DuStSwarm. Now, I do want to there's something about this tag. It's actually a pro player's tag that just made it to troll. It's right off the top of my head, but I forget it. I forget. It was actually, the craziest thing about that is that there was actually a player that I recently casted with the same clan tag, and he's a pro player. I just don't know the name. I forget the player, and I forget the name and what clan he actually belonged to that was pro. Arg. It's one of those things that drives me nuts. It's one of those tricks of the mind. Mind games of a different dimension. But it looks like for now, our red Zerg, for our purposes, will be going for a second hatch, a double hatch opener. Sorry about that huge misclick and blank moments, a few blank seconds in this cast because I did have to take a swig off of my energy drink. It's just Rockstar Recovery. Doesn't have as much caffeine as say your typical Rockstar energy drink or Monster energy drink. I choose this one over other energy drinks simply due to the fact that it feels like the energy grind that goes through me is much smoother. And it looks like this is actually something that we don't see practiced all that much coming from Monoxide. He's actually putting the barracks right here instead of at the choke in his main because, well, I mean, I think this yields a bit more risk, but of course, who at this level of play is going to go with a 6 or 7 pool, right? But the follow-up that we have coming from our Zerg is going to be an extractor almost immediately. This looks like it was a 17-ish extractor. 16-ish extractor. And Monoxide's actually moving back to the natural of his opponent. And both players just continuing to go at it like this is perfectly normal. We have double orbital commands shaping up right now, and nothing but drones coming from our Zerg. I, in this position, would be very hesitant to make nothing but drones as DuStSwarm because I have that feeling that I need map control. Now, both of these players are actually Grandmasters, so maybe DuStSwarm is a little bit more confident than what I give him credit for. No doubt, no doubt. But Monoxide is just going straight for that bio follow-up. It could be just a few unstim Marines forward pressure. It could be anything. It could be a total farce or a total front. Who knows? But right now the Overlords are in position to get some basically useless scouting information. I actually put both of mine here too, so excuse me, once you think about the reflexes of a Zerg player, this actually does not fit in well with a mechanical Zerg player such as myself, or in this case, DuStSwarm. Both of the Overlords are in position where they're not going to see anything useful, but of course that one red Ling over here could come out and get some insight into something useful. We do now have a Roach Warren finishing up for DuStSwarm, and there's nothing else here. Wait a minute, this is actually the Quantic Hyun style Roach play. Does he have Metabolic Boost? He does not. Okay, so this is actually Quantic Hyun's Roach play. The question is, wait, what is tipping off our Terran right now? How does he know what he's up against? No speedlings at the front. If he actually saw a ling that was moving slowly right now, that would make perfect sense to him. That would be the, just the absolute perfect tip-off. But right now, I'm a little oblivious as to why we have double bunkers going down from Monoxide at his own main. Excuse me, at his own natural, really. But the good news to all of this is that this is not an all-in, and it looks like we're going to have DuStSwarm transition however he chooses. But the biggest problem with this is that he is... Like, if he doesn't do any damage with these, he's just got a lot of gas that he just wasted. He could target down maybe one or two of those barracks. Yeah, there we go. He's just pecking away at it. And one of these Marauders is going to be able to hit those roaches as he pleases. And it looks like he's going to come back around and do some more poking at that barracks. And see if there's, like, maybe not some kind of a range bug, or not a range bug, but rather a range gap where he can attack that barracks without the Marauders attacking him. But it looks like, every bit of pressure he's trying to put on just isn't quite going to work out. Now we have the third hatch going into position here. And by the way, if you guys would so kindly, could you tell me how on earth Monoxide was tipped off that this would be a Quantic Hyun style roach all-in? That would be great. Now we have double evolution chambers and a baneling nest going down behind this, so maybe we have DuStSwarm perhaps opting to save what he has for now and then use it later for an assault, a timing attack of some sort, a different one. Yes, unfortunately DuStSwarm did not achieve his goal earlier with that roach push. He was supposed to kill a huge number of SCVs with it, 15 or so, and now that actually put him so far behind because he not only cut drones, he actually put all of his money onto units that essentially have no upgrades right now. And here's the thing, in the future they're going to be useless because we see him transitioning into basically a Ling Baneling heavy composition. Baneling is finishing up, and the +1 melee and Carapace now finishing as well. These Marines and Marauders going to try and A-move in here, see what they can get. And if they get that hatch, it would be big. And they do force a cancel on it. Now, I think with the unit interaction that we see here, we know that DuStSwarm's just going to clean this up. He actually didn't lose a lot outside from that hatch. He's still got almost all of his roaches. He lost one earlier. Look at that. That's a lot of resources thrown away for our Terran at this stage in the game. He's trying to take his third right now, and it's going to get started before that of DuStSwarm. Excuse me, it's gonna be landed and ready to go before that of DuStSwarm. Now we have Glial Reconstitution finished up, centrifugal hooks on the way, and it's gonna be ready to go in about 65 seconds, which means we're gonna have some speedy banelings, excuse me. And it looks like perhaps this is gonna be a roach baneling Ling timing attack. Oh no, but those Widow Mines, he's got to throw one or two Lings at his opponent to figure out just what's going on here. But for now, it looks like he's actually going to try and take down that third, if not force it to lift up, and that he will, as long as Monoxide is using his head. There we go. More Ling reinforcements just streaming in here, and he's going to have to throw some Lings at this to figure out what's up. Otherwise, those Widow Mines, they'll be able to make as many dangerous connections as they please. The Overlord, I think, did see some Widow Mines going into position, but again, the question is, did DuStSwarm see this with his own two eyes? Here we go, the Speedy Banelings making their connections, and it looks like the Banelings are just going to continue to connect with the Marines and Marauders as they please, and DuStSwarm is in a position to do absolutely horrendous economic damage. But the problem is there's too many leftover bio units, Marines and Marauders, no exceptions to that rule. And I don't know if he actually made enough worker kills. He actually has gotten 21 to this point, so he's actually doing pretty okay. Now he's pulling back everything that he's got and trying to destroy his opponent, but Monoxide is really just being, ironically enough for his namesake, suffocated by our Zerg. In terms of economy. And I think, let's check the upgrades for just a minute on these guys. Wait a minute, they're 0-0. They've got combat shields and stim, yeah, but as this game goes on, it just seems like we're going to see Monoxide in an increasingly worse position. Like, the upgrades are scaling, to say the very least. All right, now the fourth hatchery is on the way for DuStSwarm. He's got a huge, massive lead right now in every aspect except for army. So right now he's taking it into macro, but it looks like we're gonna have Monoxide trying to take this into offensive mode. Now, the only thing going for DuStSwarm at this stage presently is the fact that he has, I'm sorry, wait, he has superior upgrades, yes, and he also has that's about it, really. He has some tanky units that can take down these Marines. Widowmine's not quite so much, but of course, the Marines will be dealt with pretty sufficiently, to say the very least, from these Lings. And the Roaches, since they've got armor upgrades, it's going to be more difficult for these no-attack upgrades Marines to actually eat through them. It's going to be like they're nibbling away at the skin of these guys. Okay, so DuStSwarm now moving out with what he's got. And Monoxide's actually at a superior army count presently by about 61, but every time, I want you guys to remember, like, every time we have, say, these roaches here, every time they are upgraded in terms of, what's the word I'm looking for, armor, that makes them just a little bit harder to kill. So it's like all these Marines are going to be, when this 2+2+2 finishes, it's going to be like they're shooting at, oh, I don't know, for every 8 roaches. No, that's a bad analysis. Forget it. That's a bad analogy. Okay, so basically these Zerglings now, they are +2/+2. It's going to be like for every 2 or 3 Zerglings that he has, there's going to be 2 more in the mix, unupgraded. And here we go, the Banelings rolling in, making sick connections. And there it is. It looks like a pathway to the third has kind of been punched open, and these roaches are going to come and keep the door kicked wide open, and they're going to have just such a riot here at the third, dealing with all of these SCVs and eating them alive, ladies and gentlemen. I still want to highlight that this is very much so either player's game, as we don't have too terribly many SCVs being totally annihilated here. 38 to this point, but oh no, it just looks like not DuStSwarm, but Monoxide just went ahead and left the game. He kind of gave up. I want to just highlight for a moment that if we had seen perhaps some kind of money double medevac drop behind this, it probably would have ended well for Monoxide. Look at the army supply. He's got 34. He just, I want to say the difference wasn't too big, but it was in a somewhat recoverable position, just as his fourth was finishing up, and he could have turned that into a planetary fortress. Oh, I don't know. It's a lot of it is perception, but his upgrades were really far behind too. Overall, I want to say I don't blame him for leaving the game, but at the same time, if he had kind of fought his way back in, he would have been just fine. All right, guys, so this has been Breaker. I'll see you guys next time.